This is a short presentation about how we use iPads in Mercy Ballymahon. We first introduced the iPads in 2013, and at that time the primary function was to act as an ebook reader. So we were replacing the hard physical copies of the textbooks with digital copies on the iPads. And since that time, our use of the iPad has developed. In particular, that development has been driven by the adoption of Google Classroom as a learning management system. Google Classroom is now the framework upon which our digital teaching and learning operates within Mercy Ballymahon. So teachers use it as a portal for sharing work, for sharing materials, for setting work, for marking work, and for retaining a record of students' work that they've sent in. We are using the Google suite of apps here in Mercy Ballymahon. So all students have a Gmail account, and they also then have access to Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Sheets. These are apps which allow for students to work remotely on their iPads without having to be attached to the server here in school. And they're also apps that allow students to work collaboratively. We pride ourselves on being a tradigital school here in Mercy Ballymahon, and this means that we use both traditional and digital mechanisms of teaching. The two run in tandem. Digital teaching has not replaced traditional teaching, but it is used to enhance that traditional teaching that we have. Part of our developing programme of e-learning has been to introduce a programme of digital media literacy to our first years. This is part of their digital well-being and includes training in how to use the apps that they may have not encountered before, and internet safety and well-being online. And some of our school community will now share their experiences with you.
Many people may think that the main advantage of students having an iPad is that they don't have to carry around a heavy bag every day. And while that is a benefit, there are many other uses associated with the iPads.
There are a number of educational apps that we use here in Mercy Ballymahon, and as a teacher I can really see how this benefits the students in the new junior cycle.
The use of the iPad allows students at Mercy Ballymahon to learn in an interactive, creative and collaborative way.
My favourite app is Piclage. I like Piclage because it lets me organise photos and add text. My teacher gives me feedback on Google Classroom. This is an example of a Piclage which I created in my digital wellbeing class. I was asked to pick my favourite topic and upload my work. My teacher gave me feedback and I'm now confident in using Piclage across all my subjects. My favourite app is Book Creator. I like this app because it helps me analyse and summarise. An example of where I used Book Creator was in my geography class to create a project on economic activities. I created my own book and submitted it to my teacher to correct. In the future, I will be able to use this for revision.
Google Slides is a really useful app. I used it for my presentation in wellbeing. I screen mirrored my iPad to the whiteboard and presented it to the class.
This is my presentation that I made on Google Slides.
I can now use Google Docs. I can create a Google Doc, edit the doc, and insert links and photos.
I can share my doc with a friend and we can both edit it.
Classroom, the teachers put assignments and announcements on Google Classroom and correct their work.
I like learning about internet safety this week. We're learning about cyberbullying and being safe on the internet. I found the WebWise videos very informative and we're learning about spyware, malware and cookies.
Recently, as part of the Digital Schools Award, our students and staff took part in the EU Selfie Project. This is a snapshot in time. It's a survey that takes a snapshot in time of our school's digital progress. And as you can see, the results were very favourable. 93% of our students agree that they are learning how to behave responsibly and respectfully when we're online. We can see 91% of our students are in agreement that they're learning how to create digital content. This is reflective of the ongoing progress we are making as a school in teaching our students how to interact in the digital space. Our digital media literacy programme that we're running with the first years has been rolled out this year, and as we improve, we hope to see those figures go even higher. In Mercy Ballymahon, we use our iPads and Google Classroom for assessment. The use of the web-based Google Drive allows students to make a digital copy of their work and store it online. And this can be accessed from their iPad, either in school or at home. It's very useful. We find it a very beneficial way of managing students' work and the work that teachers are giving to students. In particular, if students miss work or have misplaced their work, it means that they always have a record of what they had done previously. In Mercy Ballymahon, we're using our iPads for digital assessment. So together with Google Drive, the iPads allow for students to retain a record of their work, and it allows teachers to send out materials to students. Google Drive provides a digital storage area for students' work, and this means they can easily gain access to material that maybe they did in previous years, or perhaps they've missed a lesson or they've misplaced a copy, and it means that they can access that work once they have their iPad. COVID-19 is obviously brought massive changes in the way that we're delivering our teaching, and during the period of online learning last year and again this year, we have seen that the Google platform has allowed teachers to seamlessly continue teaching and distributing work to students. It's also provided a portal through which students can return their work for assessment, and we are using our iPads for feedback and assessment of work. So with the use of scanning apps, students are able to scan their work that they've done at home, they can upload their work to Google Classroom, and teachers can then mark it and give feedback. Students can submit work by scanning their work in a scanning app and then opening up Google Classroom. When they go into their to-do list, they can see the work that is needing to be submitted. They can click on the piece of work, and this piece of work asks for a scan. They draw up from the bottom and click Add Attachment, which they can select from their files. They then attach it and click Hand In, and this allows the work to be submitted. Teachers can then, on their Google Classroom, go into a class and they can see the pieces of work that students have submitted. They can click on these pieces of work, and using a stylus or a pencil, they can write on the piece of work in the same way they would write in a student's copy. So a student here has got manganese and magnesium confused, so the teacher can write that correction in on the piece of paper or the digital piece of paper in the same way they would in the copy. The teacher then saves that, and it saves into the student folder, and the teacher then has the option of making a private comment to that student about their work. The teacher then saves this, and when the student goes into their Google Classroom, they can open up through their to-do list their returned work, or they can go into the classroom itself to access their returned work. When the student accesses the piece of work that has been marked, they will see that they have their original piece of work, they have the piece of work that the teacher has edited and written upon, they have the private comment the teacher sent them, and in this particular instance, the teacher has also sent back a class comment with general feedback to the whole group. And that's how students are using the iPad for assessment.